So, your stuff is supposed to pass. Good. Oh, what? Um,
Roger, we've got everybody. Kurt's superintendent, and then Chris is the field electrician that we worked with on that other Riley project a couple years ago. So we're all here.
Okay, I'm getting Jason in right now. Jason, just let me know when you're here.
I am here.
Good deal. Good deal. All right, go ahead, Will, or whoever's got the information we need to go over.
I guess the question, the wall framing is going to pose issues for us trying to get raceways in for you. So on those holding room doors, we got a continuous hinge, power transfer continuous hinge.
Correct.
So we need to know, and I looked at the submittal, I didn't see a location on that hinge where in that jam we need a hole drilled through for the raceway for that power transfer.
It'll be the same as it was before. It'll be 4 inches down from the top of the door.
Yeah.
And that's an approximate location. If the hinges come out made, sometimes they make them a little bit off an 1/8 inch or so up or down. So as long as we're clear down to 4 to 4.5 inches, somewhere in there, we're good. The biggest concern will be going across the door header, pulling wires that direction, depending on how tight they've got the header stud over the top of that door.
Well, their box, yeah, the box header is smack on top of that frame. So the raceways you're going to need for your frame sensor and your door sensors, you just need holes drilled in the face. I guess you just need holes drilled in the face of the door head frame, correct?
That's something we do on site as we get things aligned. If you pre-drill those holes without a template, there's a chance you'll get outside of where the beam's going to cover, and then the holes won't be covered up. What we need to make sure is that underneath that box header they've got on top of the door frame, make sure that it's not pushed down really tight into that door frame. So we need just a little bit of space under it to be able to fish our wires across.
Okay.
In any case, there's no holes that you have to drill. That's all something we do when we get on site. That way they're in the exact location they need to be.
Okay. Understood then. So Kurt, I guess just need to make sure check with Daniel, see how much space we've got between the top of the frame header and the framing header to make sure they're going to be able to fish wires from one side to from one jam to the other jam.
Okay, what are we looking for on that, like a minimum and maximum?
Maximum is however much we can get. Minimum, probably right at a 1/2 inch gap between the bottom of the box beam and the top of the the door header itself.
Okay.
And
I think we should. I mean, double check her, but we should be fine then, if that's
Right.
all we need.
Yeah, I think we are.
Yeah, as long as we got at least a half inch, because we'll use 18 gauge baling wire that we straighten to fish wires across the top of the door headers. So that half inch just gives us enough room for a wire, and the beam wire as we're pulling it across, and gives us a little wiggle room up and down. That way we can get over anything that may be lying in the top of the door header itself.
Chris, what other rough in questions you got?
Can't think of anything necessarily offhand. One question I had between drawings is, there are multiple key switches going around, and I just want to make sure that I'm not double tripling up key switches that are intended for the same purpose. So I have a key switch for nurse call, I think key switch for Presidio, and then a key switch for top door.
Yeah, top doors has to be separate from everything else.
Right. Yeah. So I think I'll end up having to put 3 separate switches. The drawings are a little confusing. They also have a couple card readers for engage and disengage, but they don't match any of the other drawings. So I guess that's where my confusion is coming from. So much information that's not, I don't think, was necessarily vendor drawings.
Switch over to my drawings. You should be able to see my screen any second now.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, so you can see where I've got our key switches drawn. It's just a circle with the K in it.
Yep.
We have to have it at the strike side or near the strike side of each door. It can be moved to the hinge side of the door. It's just not typical.
Now, does that just need to go above the ceiling, raceway above ceiling?
No, the key switch will be whatever the normal height is for key switches in the area.
Right, but the raceway from the key switch rough end box, does that need to go above the ceiling?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Well, that brings up another question. Is all this going to be in conduit?
Yes, the key switch will be in raceways. The door obviously won't be if you guys are drilling later.
All right, yeah, we'll have a J box that's out. Well, in this case, if you're looking at the screen where it says MJB, that's our master J box. It may not be in that exact location, but each one of the pink lines coming out of that, if that's got to be in conduit, then that conduit has to go to the strobe location above each door.
Yeah, that's a gray area for me. I don't know if that's conduit or if it's free air, but I'll find out for sure.
Yeah, I definitely need to know before we order wire for this, because that will change the amount of wire used if it's in conduit, obviously.
Gotcha. Yeah, so these will all have access hatches in front of each door, holding door. I think there's already a 4-inch raceway intended to go from hatch to hatch, so I'm pretty sure that it's all free air. And then you just use those raceways more or less just ease to get between boxes. But,
Right.
Yeah. So the Master J box, I think they intended that to sit over there near the nurse station, and then the touch screen is the A8. Back to the A8, it's a fire extinguisher, but it shows that your touch screen goes over there.
I see.
So where
We
the
just
point
add
of
an
that
arrow in
A7
there, and
is.
I'll redraw this and update it before we get started installing.
Yeah, just for your.
What else we got?
Yeah, I think that was it for me as far as key switching and knowing that it has to go on strike side. That's helpful information.
Right, and that
That's-
master
I
J
see the
box will be, we typically put that above ceiling.
Oh, okay.
So anywhere above ceiling within 100 cable feet of the touchscreen display, which it looks like just about anywhere on this floor you could put it, still have enough wire to get there. But it's 100-foot max from the master J box to the touchscreen display.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, that nurse station is the only drop ceiling in there, so I'm sure that it'll be somewhere in that location.
Right. Okay. With that being said, the multi-door hub 1, MDH1 right here, we can pull that back into the nurse's station as well. That way it's easily accessible. or you said
Okay.
you're going to have access above each one of these doors, we can actually put it in that access panel out here in the hallway. Whatever works best.
Okay. And the multi-hub so the Master J box comes with a certain amount of slots, and then the MDH is to extend that. Is that right? If I
Correct.
remember
Correct.
from
Yeah.
2 years ago?
Each one of our junction boxes will handle 6 doors.
Okay. All right. It's all coming back to me now. Somebody should make a song that says that.
It's probably been written, but who knows? Write it again.
Yeah, I think that's all I had, as long as the guys are satisfied with the doors.
All
I
right.
do have a question.
Go ahead, Jason.
So you're putting a box header above the door frame. I'm guessing that's going to close off our access to run wire up from the hinge to the ceiling where the strobe is located.
That depends on how wide they make that box header. So that the adding to that question is how far is that box header going to extend out past the end of the frames?
That box header is probably 1.5 inches. Just because you got those frame clips that the framing's attached to.
Right? With that being said, I'm assuming the sheetrock's not up yet. Is that correct?
That is correct. That's why we're trying to have
Right.
this conversation today.
Right. Could we get a hole drilled through those box beams that comes out of the wall above ceiling? And a string dropped in that. That way, when the door frame is actually put in, it'll be hanging right there at the door header itself, or at the, what am I trying to say? Where the hinge hole goes through for the power transfer into the frame itself. If we get a string that goes from there up through that box header and comes out above ceiling, we'll be able to get that done much easier.
So Chris,
Yeah,
can you install a ring and a string then on the hinge side going through those box headers?
Yeah, I mean, what we could do is, I mean, I could even just pop a hole and maybe even put a grommet, and then just pop a string out through the grommet. That way, when they're pulling through the stud and back up, they're not scraping across the studs. But yeah, you and I can walk this if you want, or I can walk with Kurt and just kind of show him what I was thinking. But yeah, we can get him a string down.
That'd be excellent. That would really keep from us having a chance of damaging something.
Yeah, the drawings kind of they're real vague, but they show a couple of raceways, and it says stubbed into the frame. But I don't know if that means I'm supposed to come down a foot.
Do you have that drawing that you could share right quick?
I don't. Maybe a technologically advanced person on the call that would.
Well, if somebody can just tell me what it's called, what its name is, I'll find it and share it myself.
Do you have access to Procore on this job?
I do.
Okay, let me find it real quick. One of the T drawings.
Let's see.
T406.
Oh, well, I was going to guess wrong. Okay, security details.
Yeah, so if you look at note 8, it just says behavioral health holding room. I'm assuming that's a typical.
Did you say
But-
T406?
Yeah. Yep.
So I'm running a search trying to find it right quick. There we go. Security details. All right, which one of these details are we looking at?
8.
I don't know that that's
8.
specifically the doors we are looking for. They don't give me door types other than just, I don't know what S5, but it just says behavioral health holding, so I'm assuming that's us. But yeah, it shows 2 3/4 conduits into frame. didn't really connect to anything, so I don't know if those are just supposed to be
Yeah,
stubs.
and I don't know why they've got the second one. Let me share this back with you guys right quick. So this one on this side is really not necessary because our wires from that side of the door, I'm sorry, I got that backwards. It's the one on the left side is incorrect. So our wiring will actually go straight across the door header and drop out on this side on the hinge side and then go back up through this conduit they've got drawn.
Okay, so that 6x6 box is yours.
All right, looks like they've got the other nurse call and whatever else in there also. So the one of these key switches would be ours. I would just assume have the single. That way we're not taking a chance of messing with anybody else's wiring that's pulled down into these switches.
Yeah, that's the confusing part for me. There are 2 card readers on top of each other. I don't really understand that. Unless one's a card reader and one's a key switch. I guess that's another
see,
question for me to follow
Chris, all that was value engineered out because
up on. Okay.
because these holding room doors are key only. They're not electronic hardware. So that's not accurate in that detail.
Okay. And I mean, obviously, I know we were all kind of dealing with the same. That's the point of frustration on this. There are some things that I saw in the job anymore.
Right. They didn't get updated.
Yeah. So we have quite a few details that don't look like they apply anymore. I just want to make sure that we start hanging drywall, like you said. There's going to be impossible to add anything in the future with that bracing in there. Okay, so we'll get maybe a flex. Okay.
We'll work on that from our end, Chris, but we know for Roger's key switch, we definitely need key switch for their install. But those other 2 boxes, I'm 99% sure those have been eliminated from scope.
Okay, so just to clarify, we have a key switch that needs to go in on the latch side, and then the power hinge side is the only side that needs a raceway.
Correct. We'll need a raceway that way we can pull wire from here up back to there so it can go to the strobe. Our other wire, like I said, will come straight across the door header and join up with this wire at that point.
Okay.
Gotcha.
And I would say
Go ahead.
if you're going to run the conduit, then that would be awesome because then we can just push the wire down from the top, and we can just pull it out with a hook instead of trying to find it.
If it's in conduit, that's a better way for us. But if it's not, we just need that pull string.
Yeah, I've purchased a lot of flex for this particular reason, so yeah, we have it here. It's no big deal. Just throw in. Yep.
All right. Anything else we need to look at the moment?
And then, Chris, you've got a box. Well, I guess that was the other. Wasn't that your other question about the dome light? Was that with DH Pace or is that with Presidio? The 44-inch above finished floor?
That's actually a nurse call question.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think this box, so I think in one of the notes somewhere they talked about Presidio is just supplying the power supply for the door. So I'm guessing that's what that 6x6 junction box is they have a power supply in there, and then all of this stuff just ties into that. Is that correct?
The only power supply we have for top door alarm would be in the master J box.
Okay. So essentially, you don't even need to hit that 6x6 other than.
Right. So it's showing a conduit coming in. We would have our 18.8 coming in here and going straight down to the strobe. A lot of times when there's not a junction box here, that 18.8 runs directly to the strobe from whatever J box it came from.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think they just tried to combine everything into one drawing, but I think I understand as far as top door alarm what's needed. And then I'm pretty sure that 6x6 box, by all rights, has been removed, if there's no card reader or any kind of other access. There's no key switch other than top door alarm. There's no lockdown or
Right.
override, right?
For us, in almost all cases, we make up all of our wire connections inside the strobe junction box.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
we'll have
I
our
can
18.8 coming in, then we'll have an 18.4 that comes out and will go to the frame, and then an 18.2 that'll come out and go to the key switch. And that should be it.
Yeah. All right.
Jason, you got anything else you feel like we need to ask?
Not at this point. That's
Okay.
great. Just I think it's always best if we can stay out of other people's boxes, and
Yeah, absolutely.
that way there's no confusion afterwards for sure.
It sounds like that's going to happen anyway. If in fact these other two little boxes here were deleted because no card readers needed.
We'll get that verified on our end, Roger. But okay, I think I appreciate your guys' time, but that answered. We're just trying to obviously get all the rough ends in now, so we're not trying to fish anything through.
Right, absolutely,
Drywall.
absolutely. Makes for a much cleaner finished job.
Yes. So, okay, Roger, I appreciate you getting this thrown together on short notice. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
Hey, Will?
Again, sorry I didn't see your email this morning at 6:15. I just flat overlooked it.
That's no problem at all. We got the answers we were looking for.
Excellent.
Hey, one last question while everybody's here. As far as pulling the cable, are we pulling the cable, or is that on you guys?
We'll pull it.
Okay. I just want to make sure. I know that we pulled the cable upstairs. I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page as far
Well,
as that goes.
I think we're pulling. I'll have to go back and actually look now that you bring that up.
Okay.
Just a second. I'll verify it. Maybe. Let's see. I mean, do you have to be licensed to pull low voltage?
Yeah,
I
just
think
don't know if
that was the question a couple years ago. Contract wise, though, Roger, I'm not sure off the top of my head. I don't know what you got in your scope, and Chris, you may double check with PJ, see what she's got in her scope.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to do that.
Yeah, if we could swing around, if you could reply to me an email and just let me know one way or the other, and I'll look through ours and see what was left out, and I'll let you know about that as well.
Okay. Very good then. Anything else from anybody on the call?
Nope.
All right. Thanks again, Roger.
Yeah,
Y'all have a good day.
If it
Yeah,
is
thank
us,
you.
if it is us pulling wire, if it is through conduit, all we need is a pull string left in it. That way we can tie onto it and pull it right through. That's the only other thing I need to add to that.
Yep, we can do that. I'll verify that it's either in conduit and who's pulling, and yeah, when you guys show up, if it's in raceways, we'll have strength in for you.
10-4. All right, gentlemen. If you need anything
All right,
else,
thank
let
you.
me know, and we'll do another meeting if necessary.
All right. Thanks again, Roger.
Thank
yes,
you.
sir. Y'all have a great day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.